The ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, has for some time now been battling to put its house in order ahead of the 2019 election. The party has been plagued with crises leading to its factionalization in different states. A national leader of the party, Bola Tinubu, tasked the President Buhari to employ his diplomatic skills in bringing warring factions in the party together. It had barely gotten to work when the APC was thrown into another round of crisis following the elongation of Odige Oyegun's tenure as national chairman of the party, a move many party stalwarts declared unconstitutional.
Now, the crisis in the party was further deepened after the party held its ward and state congresses. Parallel congresses were held in some states, while in others, the exercise was marred by violence. And since then, APC leaders have been busy trying to get all aggrieved members on board as the party heads for its national convention on June the 23rd to elect new leaders. Now, the success of which will birth a fresh start for the party.
All right.
We have in the studio a member of the All Progressives Congress, Ibrahim Oshinowo, joining us right now. Good morning, Ibrahim.
Thank you for
having me.
Nice to see you.
Good one.
Right. Now, so much is going on across the country in all the APC, within the political party, and as so much is going on to repair, so much is also going on in looking the other way for alternatives here and there from reports we're getting and all of that. Can you, with the eye of overview, what is really going on in the APC? A lot of people have said they have not learned from what led to PDP going down.
For me, there's nothing much going on. It's just activities that is expected to play in politics. Of course, interest is going to spring up. We have people, we have caucuses who form the APC, we have the new PDP, we have the ANPP, we have the ACN, and we have the fleeing of APCA. So it's expected that the different stakeholders, of course, will want to have their cake out of the central pot. So it's not a big deal that such thing is going to happen. What we need to understand is that we have to give the president some accolades to stand by the rule of law, to ensure that the party does not have a proxy delegate, that those in the office needs to vacate their office and allow them to recontest if they so wish. So there's nothing much, there's no difficult, there's no issue, it's just normal, ups and downs, and people will raise eyebrow.
Would you really say that it's normal? I mean, the optics of it, when the ward congresses don't go the way that they should go, the state congresses, local government, yes, you have factions in so many states of
Honestly,
the APC.
I don't know if you can tell me
that
I've not seen any fraction.
You say it's not a big deal, and then there's a convention that's been shifted uncountable times. People are not even sure that the one that's about to happen is 23rd of June, the national convention, even that will take place.
Let me make
you say that it's not a big deal.
Let me make it expressly clear that our convention has never been shifted. The last one that was stated for June 2nd was because of the fasting, and we have to consider our Muslim brother, and that's the reason why we have to come to 23rd, which is on Saturday. And I assure you that's going on. And all preparation, all hands on deck to ensure that we have a successful convention. There's no the defection, or you said defection. I don't know if you can remember me one or two, but I've not seen any defection in the party.
Threats, especially on the part of the NPDP.
Threats are normal, of course. People will make some threats, just to get their own share and ensure that their own stakes are protected. Of course, congresses will come and congresses will go, and some, you can't have it all. Even in the PDP, when they held their own, there's a lot of issue, but at the end of the day, the reconciliation committee is there that they can explore those options. They can sit down and negotiate. Of course, from the LG, we have few states, out of the 36 states, maybe one or two is expected, but I think you guys should give us a good one, that of course, out of 36 states, we're having just one or two. And those issues have been dealt with. So we are in a good path.
Have they been dealt with? Because
I assure you they've been
the way
dealt with.
we are looking at issues from Imo State, issues from Kaduna State, issues from Kogi State, issues from Kano State, and all of that, have they been dealt with?
There's no issue in Kogi State for now. I don't see any issue in Kogi State. Imo State, I can tell you, is in court. So I will not say much about it, but I can assure you.
Even River State, too.
River State, yes, River State as well, but River State has been settled. I don't know, maybe you are not privy to that information. There's power of negotiation. I want you to understand that, okay, you can go for 50-50, 50-40. It's just about interest. Nobody's threatening to leave our party.
All right. As at now, the name NPDP, which was very phenomenal in the 2015 election, is still being mentioned now. Putting that on one side, we have not heard about the CPC that came together that time. We've not heard of the APC faction. We've not heard of ACN. We've not heard of ANPP. But we're hearing of NPDP and all of that. They complain of marginalization. They complain of persecution of all kinds and all of that. You mentioned you used the word cake earlier on. Is it clear that the national cake is not being shared evenly?
Anybody that comes from New PDP, don't forget that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar was the leader of the New PDP. And I'm not surprised about Kau Baraje antecedent. He has always been on the other side of the coin. As I can describe him as a rebel. I will say that for free. So I don't know if he can go back to the history how his partner becomes the head of the Senate, and how Dogara becomes the head of the House of Reps.
When you say his partner, are you talking about
his friend, his Hala, his political
Bukola
partner, Hala? Yes,
okay,
the Senate President Bukola Saraki. Out of all the senators elected on our platform, Saraki is not the best candidate. We have some fantastic ranking senators who has done credibly well, but he emerges at the expense of the New PDP. The New PDP are heading the National Assembly. Is that not the fair arrangement with our party? Do they want to take the presidency or the head of government, or do they want to take all the ministers because they come from PDP? All right, let's look forward. So we have to be decent in our demand. You don't just say because you come from New PDP and because of that you have to jettison all other interests and stakeholders. So all right, well, this discussion really is not about the NPDP or any other factions within the APC. It's about the APC making a fresh start. Yeah. Will this convention on the 23rd actually provide that opportunity, that platform for the APC to start afresh? And if you believe so, in what areas would you want to see that change that will engender confidence in the electorate that truly the APC is a party that we should entrust our next 4 years or so to? Yeah, thank you for that question. We have few people contesting for the national chairman of our great party, and I can assure you the best stand is going to emerge. What I personally will look forward to is to ensure that all our party members, including the electorate, who are the optimists in this game, should be considered in our policies. Ensure that we have a thorough inter-party and independence in our selection of our candidate. The party supremacy also should be enforced at this point in time. During this ending administration of the John Oyegun leadership, the party supremacy somehow is shaking. So the new leadership should ensure that they work closely with the executive. All our promises, all expectations from ordinary Nigerians on the street should ensure that we implement all our policies. The game to delay or to say, okay, because of this we can't do this, because of this we can't do this, should stop. Because a lot of people are looking up to us. So the new leadership, I bet you, we are going to have a tested hand who have been tested in different sectors of the economy. And I assure you, you are going to see a new dynamic leadership. Even in terms of budget, I listened to the last speaker, the budgeting issue is very crucial to our party as well, because as a party, you are like a manager to the executive, because it's the party that will sell his agenda while you elect the president and the other candidate of the party, and they go out there to dish out the policy of the party. So the party must work with the executive to ensure that all our promises, even the ones that we will not be able to complete at this point in time, should be effected, because Nigerians, they so much entrust their vote in us in the last election. Okay. So we can't afford to. And I will employ the party as well to approach the Supreme Court on this budgetary issue. It has been lingering so much. The Supreme Court should put a stop to this. I can imagine somebody inserting about 6,000 projects, claiming that you are closer to the people, without having a clear design, clear costing analysis. The president has used a fantastic work. The project has not been thoroughly conceptualized into the budget. And you are putting a figure to that. You know, you didn't consider so many apparatus. The professors has killed the story. You know, we have to come out with a new plan. Our elected members should know that if you are elected on our platform, you must at all costs have the national interest in you, not a personal one.
Okay. Talking about promises that you said earlier on, the message and the promise by your party in 2015 was very clear and very emphatic. And the past 3 years, not so many Nigerians will beat their chest to say we are very satisfied with what the party, matching what they have, what they can see with what the promises the party made. Now we are in an election year, going forward into an election. What will be the fresh start message of the APC now to the people?
I've addressed the issue you just raised several times in several forums. Yes, we promise that we are going to do this, we are going to do that. And I want you to understand that government is continuous. In the last 16 years of PDP, a lot of issues, I don't want to be referring to PDP. I'm coming from a private sector to politics, and I don't like to linger in the past, because the past will not allow me to see the future. So we must, in politics, you must refer to the past, because there are some loans, there are some policies that have been there in the last 15 years that is affecting our home plans and progresses. E.g., rail, roads, Lagos-Ibadan Road, for instance, this administration came on board in less than 4 years, is able to implement 70% of their project. We met Fort Mainland, the Southeast Second Niger Bridge. We met that project on board. It was underfunded. We were able to fund that project to some extent. East-West Road in River State, we're able to address all those things. Look at rail from Abuja to Kaduna, linking, cutting across all the bases of the Southwest and the Northeast and the North Central. We're able to address in the last 4 years. What our advice our people should understand is that APC cannot come in 4 years and implement a project or a project plan of 20, 30 years. Most of our elites in this country has traveled abroad. They could see a plan of monorail from Brussels to Dendeleu in the north part of Belgium. Takes about 25 years to implement. There's different corridors. There's some different ethnic groups that will say, okay, I want from Onitsha, I want from Abuja to link Udemili South in Anambra, from Anambra to go to Enugu, from Enugu to get to Abia. There are a lot of issues that will form those policies or form our promises that we have.
Okay, so are you saying in effect that Nigerians should give the APC another chance to complete or to take to a very far distance some of the promises that you've made, especially in the areas of security, fighting corruption, and of course fixing
if time will permit me, I'm going to come to that extent. I'm just giving you about some infrastructural promises that we have made. In terms of security, we have done fantastically well. You can see the last time we raised the issue of 1 billion on harmonizations and some software. And a lot of oppositions, a lot of people raised that 1 billion is too much for government to raise from that place. I don't forget that as we are fighting...
Yeah, they said it was too much because government had said we have technically defeated...
Exactly.
I don't want you to believe... I don't want you to subscribe. You are asking me a question, asking me that my party has promised so much, but they have not been able to deliver. And I'm telling you what we're able to do. If you say that yes, we said that we confirmed that we are degrading Boko Haram, but I want you to understand that they are using ammunition to degrade them, and while you are depleting the ammunition armory, you have to replace them. And combat war are not fought on the field alone. We have some backup software that you have to use for surveillance, for mapping, for GPRSing and all these things. In times of war, you go just confirm what Kenya is doing in terms of investment.
Of course, that's understandable, but
let's
look at other areas as it pertains to this fresh start for the APC. There's this unity list that's been talked about. Do you want to reassure Nigerians that there is no such thing, or what exactly is happening? Yes, ahead of the National Convention.
No, I've not heard of any unity list. I don't know what is the meaning of unity list.
Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting.
I don't know anything about unity list. What I know is that our party is going to conduct a thorough and decent, a transparent National Convention in a couple of days, in less than 24 hours. So that I don't know the meaning of unity list. What I know is that people get their forms, they've been screened. If you are qualified, you participate. I don't think there's any unity list.
All right, there are concerns that, maybe let me ask this question before we go. Time is against us, right? Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. The point there is, there are concerns. Legal luminary Femi Falana has said that he kept saying it, he's saying it, that it is illegal for parties to charge monies for nomination forms and so on. And we have seen this almost all political, in fact, the president has said that he had to borrow 27 million naira to buy his nomination form in 2015. Yeah. What are we expecting going forward in this next dispensation?
Femi, I appreciate him. He's one of my benefactors when we were in student union movement. I know he's speaking from the position of law. He's not a party member, he's not our party member, but he's our friend. But unfortunately for him, the party will have some liabilities and expenses to run. And this party does not take money from the government. We don't take contracts. We use our money to take care of our expenses, offices, stationaries, transportation, health-wise, mini investment within our party member across the country. So how do we do this? I agree with him if he decides that, okay, the money should be reduced for a lot of people to participate. But to say that the party should not earn its desired revenue, I don't think that's appropriate.
Is it not because there has been a massive departure from how parties used to be funded way before now, when members of the parties would be pay dues, 10% of their legitimate earnings to actually own the political parties instead of deep pockets being in charge?
I remember when I was in office, there's charges that comes out on my payslip for the party royalty. We still do that. Okay. But in a mega party, in the national party like this, you don't force people to pay that. Sometimes you force them, you ask them to pay. Some people will not pay. But, when you make some little sales on funds and all that, you can use that as a mechanism to take care of some expenses, because we don't want to go to government.
But are you saying that 27 million naira for a presidential nomination form is not a big deal? Let me just borrow your words. Or is it something that you think the APC should look at, and every other political party, as a matter of fact?
I think the last law signed, I think, to Hinock is that they benchmark the fee to 10 million. You can't exceed 10 million. Now, it's into the electoral law now. We have House of Assembly, House of Reps. That has been addressed. If that's among us, I can assure you, to contest for office of president for 27 million. That's among us, and I'm sure that will be addressed. And that has been addressed anyway. The new law that was signed for INEC, that has been addressed. And I tell you, there's going to be drastic change in terms of, fee and all that in our new party.
All right. Ibrahim Moshinawa, APC member, thank you so much for coming on the program.
You always
nice to see you.
Thank